this is this idea is stemming. I've taken the ball and run with it a little bit, but you should not think that it is a mental concoction. It's not a mental concoction. It is a, you can say, philosophical expansion on a principle which was discussed by Srila Prabhupada in the introduction to teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and also the introduction to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He describes there that in the Mahamantra, he says, Brajendanananje Sachisuto Hoilo Se, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not able to quote it off verbatim, but Brajendanananje, I'm a little tired, so, because I have not rested properly, so please excuse me for kind of fading a little. But I'm going to continue to talk even though I'm very much under-rested. Brajendanananje Sachisuto Hoilo Se, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. In Kali Yuga, Brajendanandan Krishna, he has appeared as Sachisuta, Lord Gora. And Balaram has appeared in Kali Yuga as Lord Nityananda. Balaram Hoilo Nitai. So Prabhupada says, therefore, in the Mahamantra, the name Krishna can refer to Gora, can denote Gora. And the name Rama can denote Nityananda Ram. It's like there's, Balaram, there's Parashuram, there's, Raghupati Ram, so there's also Nityananda Ram. They're all Rama. And then there's Radhika Raman Rama, who is Krishna himself. So the name Rama can also refer to Gora. It doesn't have to refer to Nitai. But it's nice for it to refer to Nitai, because then you can worship Nitai and get the benefit of worshiping Nityananda also, who is even more merciful than Gora. So, in the Mahamantra, if Balaram Hoilo Nitai, Brajendanananje Sachisuta Hoilo Se, if Krishna can refer to Gora, then Hare, which can either be interpreted as Mother Hara, Radha, or it can be for the energy of Krishna, or the energy of Gora, or it can also refer to Hari, which can also, because it can mean Gaur Hari also. So, so the mantra can mean, you can conceptualize the meaning of the mantra to note in different ways. It can mean Hare, meaning Hari means Gora, and Krishna means Gora. So Gora, 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 Gora. And then Hari can mean Gaur Hari, and then Rama can also mean Radhika Raman Krishna, who appears as Gora to give pleasure to Radha by putting himself in her position so that he can better appreciate her service standpoint for her pleasure. So that's Gaur Rama. Gaur Radhika Rama. So then it can, the second half of the mantra can also mean Gora, 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 Gora. So the Mahamantra can mean Gora, 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 Gora. That's one meaning you can derive from Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Meaning Gora, 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 Gora. So similarly, in another way, if you take Hare to mean Mother Hara, the energy, so then who is the energy of Gora? Gadai, Gadadhar, Gadai, who is none different than Radha. If you say Brajendra Nandan Jay Sachu Sutta Hoilo say, then you can say Radhika Jay, Gadai Hoilo say. So therefore, Gadai Gaur, Gor, Gadai Gadai. And then Gaur Hari means Gora. Gaur and Rama means Nitai, so you can say Gaur Nitai, Gaur Nitai, 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 Gaur, Gaur. Gadai Gaur, Gadai Gaur, 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 Gadai, Gadai. Yeah. Gadai Gaur, Gadai Gaur, 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 Gadai, Gadai. Gaur Nitai, 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 Gaur, Gaur, Gadai, Gaur, Gadai, Gaur, 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 Gadai, Gaur Nitai, 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 Gaur, Gaur. You can mean like that also. But Hari, in my understanding, Hari can also refer to Balaram. Because Hari can also refer to Narayan. Vishnu Murti is also named Hari. And Baladev is the origin of all expanded Vishnu Murtis. So Hari must also, refer to Balaram. And Rama can refer to Gaur, so you can say Gadai Gaur, Gadai Gaur, 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 Gadai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, 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 Nitai, Nitai. You can, Anyway, the point is that especially if you Gadai Gaur, Gadai Gaur, 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 Gadai, Gadai, Gaur Nitai, 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 Gaur, Gaur. I like that one the best. Because there, the point being that when the name Krishna is denoting Gora, it is no longer Krishna Nam, it is Gaur Nam. Even though it's sounding like Krishna, it is Gaur Nam, because the personality that you're Nami of that Nam Krishna is Gora. So therefore it is Gaur Nam. Nami and Nama. So if Nami is Gora, then Nama is Gaur Nam. You understand that? So similarly, Nityananda Nam. Rama becomes Nityananda Nam.
So if we approach it in that mentality, does that mean the offences won't be counted? Or?
Yes, that's the point. Because Gaur Nam doesn't consider offenses. Gaur Nam is Odarya Nam. And Krishna Nam is Madhurya Nam. So therefore, it can be legitimately concluded that the Madhurya Swarup, or the Madhurya Roop of the Mahamantra is Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Sham, Sham, Radhe. That meaning of the Mahamantra in Parakya Bhav. This mantra is Nimbarka's mantra, but that's in Swakya Bhav. and it is not Vipralambamai Mahamantra, whereas the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare, that is Vipralamba Parikya Rasmai Mahamantra, Yuga Mantra, Hare Krishna Yuga Mantra. So it is. So that is the Madhurya Swarup means it is within the Braja realm, and it is associated with Radha Krishna Lila. Whereas the Audarya Roop of the Mahamantra, that means that it is Gaur-nam and Nityananda Nam, and it is associated with the realm of, primarily with the realm of Navadvip, although it can be also associated with the realm of Jagannath Puri, and for that matter even Braja, because both Gaur and Nitai deemed the Braja. But in any case, whether Gaur is in Braja or whether Gaur is in Jagannath Puri or whether Gaur is in Navadvip, Lord Chaitanya doesn't consider doesn't consider offenses. So it's easier to make progress by chanting offenseless nam if one will adopt that understanding of the Mahamantra and chant the Mahamantra in its Audarya, in its Audarya feature, let's say. Furthermore, another point is that in Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur's Chaitanya Chandramrita, there's a very interesting statement where Prabodhananda Saraswati says that Krishna, he's very strict. Krishna doesn't give himself so easily to anyone and everyone. He only becomes conquered by those endowed with pure devotion. So he gives himself to his pure devotees. But he doesn't give himself so easily. He doesn't give pure devotion so easily. But Lord Chaitanya is so merciful that he's prepared to give himself even to the non-devotees. Lord Chaitanya is so merciful that he's prepared to give himself to the non-devotees. And I was explaining there about the Hare Krishna dolls. My two little Gaur-Nitai deities, Prabhupada, these are two of the original Hare Krishna dolls. Prabhupada instructed Dhananjaya to make these Hare Krishna dolls, Gaur-Nitai deities, which were to be distributed far and wide. With an instruction, they're called Hare Krishna dolls, but there's an instruction inside, a little instruction sheet, which says that daily you wave one stick of incense in front of your Hare Krishna dolls and say Namaha. And you get good luck. That was Prabhupada's instruction. This was obviously not meant for devotees because devotees know that you don't just say Namaha and you get good luck. This was meant for, practically general mass of people. People who would have a little curiosity or a little interest, and enough inclination toward the superstitious. That if they wave the stick of incense in front of these, Hare Krishna dolls, you'll get good luck. So, So Prabhupada was intent on distributing Lord Chaitanya's mercy far and wide. You know, going beyond the consideration of rules and regulations. And simply based on this statement of Prabodhananda Saraswati, that Lord Chaitanya is so merciful that he's prepared to give himself even to the non-devotees. So of course, a strict analysis would have it, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that only those who are chanting Shuddhanam are Shuddha Bhaktas. They are actually devotees. Those who are chanting Namavas, they are Vaishnavavas. So, strictly speaking, they have yet to ascend to the platform of being actual devotees. They are Vaishnavavas. They are like devotees. Bhakta Praya. They are Bhakta-like, devotee-like. But they are not actually devotees. So in that sense, anyone who's chanting Namavas can consider himself still to be a non-devotee. But still there's hope. Even if we're non-devotees, even if we're struggling along with our shnik ram rams, you know. But Prabodhananda Saraswati says that Gauranitai is so merciful that he is prepared to give himself to non-devotees. What to speak of Gaurnam? Krishna Nam is more merciful than Krishna himself, Nami. So, how much more merciful Gaurnam must be, you know, than Gaur himself. And if Gaur is prepared to give himself to non-devotees, why should we not expect Gaurnam to give himself to non-devotees? So therefore, my idea, and I have some practical experience in the matter of practicing this principle, that when you're crying for Lord Chaitanya's mercy to please descend in the form of your holy name. Lord Chaitanya is the personification of the holy name. So when he descends in the form of the Audarya Roop of the Mahamantra, he and Lord Nityananda descending in the form of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When Gauranath descends, that is no longer Namavas. You can hardly expect, Krishna Nam, Shuddhanam, Krishna Nam, to descend, to condescend, to appear on our tongues so easily. Fools that we are. But because he's only going to give himself to someone who's actually proven himself to be worthy of being considered a devotee in his eyes. But Lord Chaitanya, not considering who's fit and who's not fit, is prepared to give himself to non-devotees. Gaurnam, we can much sooner expect Gaurnam if we're at least asking him, begging, crying for, do you want to chant Shuddhanam or not? So then you don't think it's something worth crying a few crocodile tears for? At least cry the crocodile tears and beg Lord Chaitanya, please, I'm such a non-devotee that I can only cry crocodile tears. But I'm begging it, seeing to my ultimate welfare. You want me to go back home, back to Godhead, even more than I want to go back home. So kindly do your dirt. That's the difference between the Audarya Leela and the Madhurya Leela. In the Audarya Leela, God himself is willing to get his hands a little dirty, to reach down into the filth. Just like, an ant falls into the latrine. But, the poor ant, you don't want him to drown, so and the latrine is a little scummy, a little dirty, you actually, if you have a little compassion on the creature, reach your hand down in there and pick him up, and again, wash your hand off later. That can be done. But you delivered that living entity from a very precarious condition. So, Audarya Nam, Gornam, you can expect Gornam, Audarya Nam, means taking the humble position, willing to get his hands a little dirty. He wants, us to come back to Godhead more than, he wants to give us Krishna Prema more than we want to get Krishna Prema. How are you going to get Krishna Prema without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya? How are you going to get mercy of Lord Chaitanya without the mercy of Gaurnam and Nityananda Nam? So, if you beg for the appearance of the Audarya Roop of the Maha Mantra while you're chanting your japa, at least try it. 50% of your japa you chant with this conception. Gadai Gaur, Gadai Gaur, 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 Gadai, Gadai, Gaur Nitai, Nita Nitai, Gaur, Gaur. You chant and begging for Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya's special causeless mercy upon you to appear, do your dirt. Give yourself to this wretched non-devotee who needs your special causeless mercy, because otherwise, what hope is there for such a fallen conditioned soul as me? So, Dina Dayalu. Even Krishna is called Dina Dayalu. So why not Gaur's Dina Dayalu? Why not Gaur Nam Dina Dayalu? If actually Dina Dayalu, then here I am, unqualified. Hina Dayalu, Dina Dayalu, fallen. Fallen soul. So please come and deliver me. I can't live without you anymore. I can't live without chanting Shuddhanam anymore. Only Shuddhanam is going to give you prema. Only Shuddhanam has Nidya Sarva Shaktis. All of his internal, Sarva Shakti means external also, but internal, when you are chanting Abhastam, highly unlikely you're associating with his Antaranga Shaktis, Sarup Shakti. When Sarup Shakti manifests, that Sarup Shakti is like the great fire which ignites, the fire that is dormant within the wood of our heart. Fire of prema. So that Shuddha Gaurnam, if by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, he condescends to appear in our hearts and dance on our tongues as Shuddha Gaurnam, then by the grace of Gaurnam, we can much more rapidly, because by Gaurnam's mercy, we can actually get bhakti, we can actually become devotees, because we're chanting, only those who are chanting Shuddhanam or Shuddha Bhaktas. But if he comes as in the form of Gaurnam, Shuddhanam, the Audarya feature of Shuddhanam, appearing as Gaurnam in our heart, on our tongue, then we may be considered as devotees. Then Krishna may, by the grace of Gaurnam's appearance, Krishna Nam may condescend to also. In other words, through the grace of Gaurnam, we can enter into, just like through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we can enter into Lord Nityananda, we can enter into Vrindavan, take shelter of the 6 Goswamis, and understand Radha Krishna Leela, and become adhikaris for entering into the Bhoma-leelas of Radha and Krishna. So, in a similar way, by grace of Gaurnam, we can easily enter into Shuddha Krishna Nam Bhajan and actually become pure devotees of Radha Krishna. also like this. Of course, Panchatattva Mahamantra is there also. Generally, we're instructed to chant this Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda before chanting our round of Mahamantra, of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? But the question naturally arises, and so many devotees have asked the question before, and even Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj makes the statement that in Kali Yuga, Gaurnam is more powerful, more efficacious. Gaurnam Bhajan is more efficacious than Krishna Nam Bhajan. You know. So then sometimes the devotees ask, well then why aren't we chanting more Gaurnam? Why only one mantra Gaurnam and then 108 mantras of Krishna Nam? Seems to me it should be the reverse. You know, because Gaurnam is more merciful. You know, so, and we need the mercy. So then, that's, you know, so sometimes the devotees, we heard like this Bhakta Richard, you know, that Prabhupada heard about Radha Kund. You know, he started chanting 16 rounds of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Next beat, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, 16 rounds of this mantra. But, you know, Prabhupada didn't recommend that. But what did Prabhupada recommend? He recommended 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But as I'm describing in the introduction of Chaitanya Charitamrita and teaching of Lord Chaitanya, both places, Prabhupada recommends that in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, name Krishna can refer to Gora, name Rama can refer to Nitai. So then, why not do it? Then you're chanting 16 rounds of Gaurnam. And then chant another 16 rounds of Radha Krishna. Or chant, 32 rounds of Gaurnam. And another 32 rounds of Radha Krishna. And see what happens to you. If you haven't done it yet, and you don't have prema, and you haven't experienced bhava, the blossoming of bhava, or even asakti, if you haven't experienced what it's like to chant Chudanam, then my suggestion, why on the treadmill trying to, get the mercy of Krishna Nam. Start chanting Gaurnam. First of all, even if you're chanting the semblance of Gaurnam, because he hasn't agreed to appear in the Mahamantra yet, but you're at least, meditating on the meaning of the mantra as such. Then, because Lord Chaitanya doesn't consider any offenses, at least you're on the state of offenseless chanting. Immediately. Immediately you're on the state of offense. And then when he's merciful, the pure stage will come. But you can expect the pure stage to come much sooner by chanting the Audarya feature or chanting the Mahamantra in this Audarya feature. You can expect much sooner.